Hello fellow coffee botherers, I'm Kev from coffeeblog.co.uk, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Swan Retro espresso machine. This is a cheap espresso machine. I paid about 90 quid for this one, and it's a machine that's been getting some rave reviews lately. Well, the same machine has, but under a different name. This machine is sold in Australia and New Zealand by K Mart under the brand name Anko, and it's recently made itself into a few lists of best coffee machines, and it's been rated quite highly, in some cases been rated overall higher than some much more expensive espresso machines. James Hoffman included this machine in his sub £100 espresso machine video, and while he didn't exactly love this machine, his words in describing the espresso this machine delivered was fine but a bit dull. Remember, he's talking about an espresso machine you can get for under 100 quid, and a sub £100 espresso machine really shouldn't even be worth mentioning. So praise by James Hoffman, although maybe not intended as praise, makes me think this is a machine I need to have a look at. So first impressions, I have to say, pretty good. It was very well boxed, double boxed, well packaged internally. It comes with a 2-year warranty, and visually, remembering how much this machine costs, I'm impressed. I might not be impressed for 400 quid, but for under 100 quid so far, I'm impressed. It has a 1.2 litre water tank, which is removable. It has a removable drip tray, of course, which seems okay capacity wise. It has these things on the top which I'm not quite sure about. I'm not sure if they're there to use the top as a cup warmer and stop the cups from falling off, or if they're supposed to be handles to hold on to when you're inserting the portafilter. Maybe both. In fact, Ethan, who does everything here behind the scenes, has actually been using these to carry the machine around. It has a pressurised portafilter, and it's a 15 bar machine. As I've mentioned on previous videos, these cheaper machines that are aimed at the mainstream domestic market are made to be used with pre-ground coffee or with cheaper grinders, which is why they have these pressured baskets or pressured portafilters. You can't make the best tasting espresso with pressured baskets, but if you're using great quality coffee beans like the coffee I'm using today, it's generally possible to get drinkable espresso, especially if you're going to be adding milk for cappuccino, flat white, latte, etc. In case you're wondering, the coffee I'm using today is my own coffee, the Coffee Works. It's all eco-roasted using biofuel made from used coffee grounds, and you can get it from cworks.co.uk and use a discount code COFFEEBOTHERERS, all one word, for 10% off. One of the main differences between this machine and most other inexpensive espresso machines, and also much more expensive espresso machines, is this, the thermometer. I think this is a brilliant idea, and I reckon this is what has got this machine, the same machine but with a different name, so high up on these lists of best espresso machines. Cheaper espresso machines generally suffer from temperature instability, not just sub £100 machines, but even machines such as the Gadget Classic and Rancilio Silvia fluctuate in temperature unless you fit a PID. I don't see anything about this machine which would make it any better than any other cheap espresso machines in terms of temperature stability. But if you know what the temperature is, then that's half the battle won. So this is an interesting feature. This machine has something else that you don't normally find on cheap espresso machines, and that is an actual boiler. Most lower cost espresso machines and all other sub £100 machines, I think, have thermoblocks to heat the water. You usually pay a bit more to get a machine with an actual brew boiler. The other interesting thing about this for me is that instead of the usual fat panarello which simply surrounds a steam pipe, this has a slimline panarello thing, but if you slide it off, it has what appears to be a standard steam wand underneath, just about. So that'll be interesting to try. So let's pull some shots, steam some milk, and let's see if this little low-cost espresso machine deserves the praise it's been given lately. So I've used a Swan Retro espresso machine and there are a few things to say, good and bad. The good, it heats up quickly, you can see what temperature the machine is at, and if it's too hot you can bring the temperature down by pulling water through the group. It makes okay espresso for such a low cost machine. Not amazing, but as James Hoffman said, it's just a bit dull. The coffee I'm using is very nice coffee, as I've said, my own coffee. And I know what it tastes like, and it just tasted muted, not as rich and vibrant as I'm used to. But no major issues making it taste disgusting, such as channeling, which would be one of my main concerns with most really low cost machines. Steaming milk with this steam pipe, steam one thing is fine, it's capable of decent milk texture for latte art, and the steam power wasn't too bad at all actually. Steam's ready fairly quickly, and thanks to the thermometer you can see when it's approaching steam ready. The drip tray has a fairly good capacity, it has a floaty thing to indicate when it's full, so quite a few positives for a machine costing 89 quid. The bad, the main thing for me is that this pressured portafilter creates a really synthetic looking crema. It looks like Guinness. This is the most I've ever seen an espresso machine, a pressured basket do this. It looks like Guinness. It's artificial, it doesn't look right. It just doesn't quite look right. I love Guinness, but I want the crema on my espresso to look like crema. All pressured baskets create crema by forcing the espresso through a small hole, but I've never seen such fake looking thick crema before. It's good to have the thermometer, but it points out that this machine does fluctuate quite wildly. It's often way too hot to brew, but at least you know that and you can work on cooling it down before pulling your next shot. Overall, for the price, I'm inclined to say that this is probably up there in terms of what you're going to get for around 90 quid. I definitely prefer the Sage Bambino Plus or the Gaggia Classic, but they're nearly 4 times the cost. The slightly more expensive Grand Gaggia you can get for around £115, and I'll do a direct comparison review, but from memory the espresso I tasted from that machine didn't look as fake in terms of the crema, and I was a bit more impressed with the shot quality overall. So there you go, my review of the Swan Retro espresso machine, or if you're in Australia or New Zealand, the K Mart Anko. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, click here to watch another, and don't forget to hit the like button. Cheers. Also, if you've not subscribed to my channel, click this image around here somewhere to subscribe to my channel. Tatty bye. I might not be impressed for 400 quid, but for under a quid, it has got the giggles now. So, I've used a Swan Retro. It makes okay espresso for such espresso.